René Descartes, a brilliant 17th-century French philosopher, is renowned for his pivotal role in shaping modern Western thought. As the ultimate intellectual rebel, he is generally considered the father of modern philosophy. He introduced the concept of doubt as a powerful tool for seeking truth. And he famously stated, "I think, therefore I am," and with this, he emphasizes the certainty of one's existence through the act of thinking. Descartes spent most of his life searching for a way to unify all of human knowledge. But in his last few years, he was mostly captivated by the problem of how to keep his hair from turning grey. In the midst of his life of searching, Descartes once declared that a beautiful woman, a good book, and a perfect preacher were, of all the things in the world, the most difficult to find. Descartes did not believe that the information we receive through our senses is necessarily accurate. His first step was to throw out everything he thought he knew, refusing to believe in even the most basic of assumptions. He developed several arguments to illustrate this point. In his dream argument, Descartes argues that he often dreams of things that seem real to him whilst he's asleep. In one dream, he sits by a fire in his room, and it seems he can feel the warmth of the fire, just as he feels it in his waking life, even though there is no fire. The fact that he feels the fire doesn't really allow him to tell when he is awake and when he is dreaming. Moreover, if his senses can convey to him the heat of the fire when he does not really feel it, he can't trust that the fire exists when he feels it in his waking life. Likewise, in the deceiving God and evil demon arguments, Descartes suggests that, for all he knows, he may be under the control of an all-powerful being bent on deceiving him. In that case, he does not have a body at all, but is merely a brain fed information and illusions by the all-powerful being. Descartes does not intend these arguments to be taken literally. His point is to demonstrate that the senses can be deceived. If we cannot trust our senses to convey true information about the world around us, then we also can't trust deductions we've made on the grounds of sense perception. At the time Descartes cast doubt on the reliability of sense perception, it was a radical position. It was generally accepted that all knowledge comes to us through the senses. Descartes and his followers argued the opposite, that true knowledge comes only through the application of pure reason. Although Descartes mistrusted the information received through the senses, he did believe that certain knowledge can be acquired by other means, arguing that the strict application of reason to all problems is the only way to achieve certainty in science. In Rules for the Direction of the Mind, Descartes argues that all problems should be broken up into their simplest parts, and that problems can be expressed as abstract equations. Descartes hopes to minimize or remove the role of unreliable sense perception in the sciences. If all problems are reduced to their least sense-dependent and most abstract elements, then objective reason can be put to work to solve the problem. Descartes' most famous statement is cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. With this argument, Descartes proposes that the very act of thinking offers a proof of individual human existence. Because thoughts must have a source, there must be an I that exists to do the thinking. In arguments that follow from this premise, Descartes points out that although he can be sure of nothing else about his existence, he can't prove beyond a doubt that he has hands or hair or a body. He is certain that he has thoughts and the ability to use reason. Descartes firmly believed that reason is a native gift of humans, and that true knowledge can be directly gleaned not from books, but only through the methodical application of reason. The expressed aim of many of his books was to present complex scientific and philosophical matters in such a way that the least sophisticated readers could understand them. Because Descartes believed that every human possesses the natural light of reason, he believed that if he presented all his arguments as logical trains of thought, then anyone could understand them, and nobody could help but be swayed. In an attempt to reach a wider audience, Descartes occasionally wrote in French, the language of his countrymen, rather than Latin, the language of scholars, so that people without a formal education could understand him. By 1649, Descartes had become one of Europe's most famous philosophers and scientists. That year, Queen Christina of Sweden invited him to her court to organize a new scientific academy and tutor her in his ideas about love. Descartes accepted and moved to the Swedish Empire in the middle of winter. She was interested in and stimulated Descartes to publish The Passions of the Soul. Descartes arranged to give lessons to Queen Christina after her birthday, 3 times a week at 5 a.m. in her cold and draughty castle. On the 1st of February 1650, he contracted pneumonia and died on the 11th of February. Descartes was a thinker who used skeptical doubt as a prelude to constructing a rationalist philosophy. By questioning the basic principles of what we can know, Descartes set aside the philosophical tradition of the past. He embraced new scientific ways of thinking about the world, beginning a new era of modern philosophy. The man often called the father of modern philosophy, René Descartes, reminded us, it's not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well.